So the question is, what do COLFO do? In all essence, we are New Zealand's pro-firearm group, or the media calls us the gun lobby. We're here to represent licensed firearms owners at multiple tables, whether it's in Parliament, working with ministers, fighting against the police unions and people who would rather see licensed firearms owners disarmed. That's what we exist for, and that's what we were founded by. There's 11 different groups who are a part of us, and we're the largest pro-gun organisation in New Zealand. The work that we do really matters, and the reason for this is, as you've probably seen in our sport, there is a declining number of new people coming into the sport. So shooters who are aged roughly around the 50s mark are starting to age out, and there's fewer of us. Best estimates have by the year 2050, there'll be less than 100,000 licensed firearms owners, which will mean we're no longer a political force. That means we are subject to the will of the vast majority of New Zealand who know nothing about our sport and think that anyone who has guns are the same as the criminals who are overly reported in the media. Then there's the external pressures. Gun Control New Zealand and anti-gun groups are growing, and they are full-time and relentless on this. In a conversation I had recently, we heard that they said, no one is going to restrict how many firearms you as a hunter or a licensed firearms owner can own. With Nicole McKee in, that's never going to happen. 20 minutes later, they were then having a conversation that said, well, maybe we should bring in compulsory club membership. And if you're not a member of club, 5 firearms should be enough for anyone. That was a 20-minute conversation. If we don't start pushing back against that now, it'll go the same way as the register. We said the register would never come in because it was stupid, had no purpose, and would never be accurate. We're now fighting against the register. We see it, and we already see the inaccuracy creeping through. Let alone councils closing ranges, people moving into new areas and saying, I don't like the gun club there because it makes too much noise. I want that shut down. This is all coming for us, and we're doing our absolute best to try and turn the tide on that. We already have seen firearms license holders drop in my lifetime from 254,000 licensed firearms owners down to 234. That's only going to increase and speed up the rate unless we bring new people in and slow the bleed. If you want to put your hands up and tell me which one of these events have led to people being raided and losing their firearms license for not being fit and proper recently. A, being diagnosed with cancer and having a seizure. B, being the victim of a violent assault, not the aggressor, the victim. C, making a poor taste joke to a medical professional when they were frustrated. D, speeding tickets. Or E, all of the above. Anyone want hands up? Yes, E, all of the above have led to licensed firearms owners having their firearms license taken from them. Our first product is what we're calling the Sentinel membership. Now, this is $99 a year. And what it gets you is fancy people like my friend Grant, lawyers in suits who, if your license is revoked for a non-criminal purpose, COLFO's lawyers will step in and defend it and fight to get your license back. Now, if you look at the price, that's $8.25 a month, which is the best deal you're going to find in this building today. And so as we continue looking through this, I want you to ask yourselves, what is my firearms license worth to me? If it's less than $8.25, you're probably in the wrong building, and this is probably the wrong audience. Now, I know that people say the coverage, which is $2,500, isn't a lot when looking at legal fees. But for us, it goes a long way, because not only have we worked with our lawyers to figure out special deals for COLFO members, but we've streamlined the information gathering process. So that means by the time they pick up the phone to talk to you, they know your case, they know the situation, and they're already ready to hit the ground running and start writing letters once they've finally talked to you. That means the money with us goes a lot further than it would if you privately engage a lawyer who knows nothing about firearms laws and will bill you for the background information they need to start on before they even start defending you. If you are charged with a crime, given a court date in 90 days, and have your firearms license suspended pending revocation, how long do you have in order to save your license? A, 90 days, B, 28 days, or C, you can challenge at any time. There isn't a limit, even if you're found not guilty. You have 28 days. It doesn't matter whether the courts have said, oh, you know what, this is going to be stretched out for 6 months, a year, 2 years before you actually get to court. If you're brought up on charges, even if they are later dropped, 28 days you have to action it, otherwise you lose your license. The other thing we're doing is the political protection. And it's important now because the Arms Act is being discussed, and Nicole's on stage right after this, so head down and get your spot. But it is the law that will determine the future of licensed firearms owners for the next 40 years and the future of our sport. It's really important now that we have a decent number of us standing together to push back against bad laws before they come in, because once they're here, like the register, it becomes really difficult to unwrite bad law. I'd rather stop it before it gets here than try and lose the battle trying to turn it around. The anti-gun lobby groups, they're way stronger, they're well-funded, and they really don't like licensed firearms owners. I've been inside their private group chats, on their private social media, and seeing what they think of it. Gun Control New Zealand's founder, Hera Cook, even said that an individual who was robbed and burgled, his kids being afraid of a bad man coming back to rob them again, it was his fault that they were burgled, and why did their dad have an arsenal? Because licensed firearms owners, in her word, are always playing the victim. It's fair enough he was scared and that his kids are things, but they say we blame everybody else for what's put on us. I don't think that's true, and they know nothing about our community, but they are the ones who are leading the discussion, and they are supported by very pro-anti-gun lobby groups. Our core role as COLFO is to fight back against not only the disinformation, not only to push for good laws, but also to help with advice and helping licensed firearm owners protect the licenses that you keep so well. If you're found not guilty and all charges are dropped, and if you did not act within 28 days, what typically happens to your license when it's suspended? A, you're innocent, right? So you get your firearms license back. B, you didn't challenge the suspension in time, so you won't be able to have a license for at least 5 years. Anyone? Yes, front, black cap. B, you didn't suspension, so you won't get your firearms license in 5 years? Correct. You don't get your license back if you didn't challenge in the 28 days. And the final round, if you receive a protection order made against you in family court, and it's later removed, that maybe the person no longer has a problem with you, or you were found not guilty, or like there's no reason for it to be put on in the first place, are you able to get your firearms license back? A, yes, because of course, why wouldn't you? There's no charges, there's no criminal history, nothing. B, no, you're disqualified for 10 years. In front? Correct, you're disqualified for 10 years. You get a hat. Bonus question. What if the family court judge says you can have your firearms license back? Do you get your license back? Hands up for yes. You guys are learning the game. Hands up for no. Yeah, you're getting the flavor of this. No, you don't get your firearms license back because you didn't act, and even if that protection order is lifted, the police themselves don't care, you will not get it back. Now, I will make a very clear distinction here. There is a difference between police and the Firearm Safety Authority. I have a lot of sympathy, despite the work and the challenges, for the FSA because they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. The rock being police and legislation they don't really have control over. They have to do their jobs like everybody does. And the hard place is sometimes grumpy, but licensed firearms owners like you and I who want to get on legally and do our sport and be left alone. But they're force pushing a system that we as the community effective don't have any faith in and are deeply frustrated by. So, to wrap this up, right now we have a lot of anti-gun things coming for us. The Arms Act is here, and we are doing our absolute best to fight for all licensed firearms owners. Hunters have the NZDA and Gwyn fighting for your rights as hunters. COLFO do that for you as gun owners. This is the most important time to stand up and be a part of the movement. I don't care if you join us for 1 year only. Try us out. Watch how we grow and watch how the benefits grow. If your license is worth more to you than $8.25 a month, please join up and join our Sentinel program. It's super easy. See us at booth 174. We've got a lawyer who will answer your questions, and you can get in the draw to win not only prize packs from our friends at Swarovski Optic and Beretta, but you'll just be able to protect your license and help us fight back against the anti-gun groups. So join us for a year. We could use your support. We're right next to the NZDA, and we'll be here all weekend answering any questions. Thank you so much for your time and attention.